Hello everybody. How is everyone this morning? If you can't hear or see me, let me know. I don't have a front-facing camera today, so sorry about that, but we're gonna be making a fun card with some of the new release items and our distress oxides. Hi Rebecca, hi Heather, hi Lori, hi Rhonda. Oh my gosh, lots of people here. Hi Rita, so glad everyone is here. We had a late start for my kiddos for school today, which also put a wrench in my morning plans, and I have a kiddo home sick with a virus of some sort. He's got laryngitis, so I think I have it too, but I'm here. I'm glad to see all of you. Hi, Kathy. Okay, first I want to show you. This is what we're going to be using today, and this is the cutest die. You guys know I love butterflies if you have followed me at all. By the way, my name is Charlene. If this is your first live, my name's Charlene, and I am a design team member here for Pigment Studios. I go live every Tuesday at noon Central Time. So welcome. If you're a newbie, introduce yourself down in the chat. Lots of friendly people here to talk to. Okay, back to what we're using. This is the Layering Fauna Butterfly die. It's super cute. Comes with a shadow, and then it has this main butterfly die, and this is going to cut out all of these little pieces. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot of little pieces. It's really not too bad once you actually see it. So don't worry about that. We're going to cut this out. And then I think we're going to use a sentiment from this set. And this is the new Bugs and Kisses set. I'll go ahead and show it to you. So this is a very gender neutral set, which is really always nice to have in your stash. Great for kids, grandkids, things like that. It's got some really sweet sentiments like sending you lots of bugs and kisses. I love that you are my little love bug. And then you've got a bee, a dragonfly, and a butterfly on here. And they're just kind of these cool geometric style. I'm not going to use the insects from it, but I am going to use the sentiment, I think. And there are coordinating dies, and those include dies for all the sentiments, which is really nice. Lori, you're getting your mask. It's yeah, it's a germ house here right now. Thankfully, you can't get it through the screen, right? Okay, we've got also, these are new to Picket Fence as well. And this is the A2 rectangles for card layering set. A bit of a mouthful, but just a little bit of background on these. You may notice if you've ever been on the Picket Fence Studios website, there are not a lot of your standard dies, like your rectangle or your multiple circles, multiple ovals kind of dies. And that's been like Nicole, the owner of the company, she specifically chose not to have any of those. And the design team has been bugging her saying we want some. So she came out with this set this month, which is, I think, really quite brilliant, because I oftentimes don't use the smaller rectangles in my other rectangle sets. So what this has is it does have 4 individual little rectangles, and these come in, I believe, every 1/16 of an inch. So here's the sizes if you want to see them. But it's got 4 of them, which I always love that nice border around my cards. But then, because we don't have any inset rectangles, it comes with these 2 awesome cover plates. So this one is kind of a fun geometric square pattern. And then this one, which is what I want to use today, is really neat. It has all these lines and You could do really fancy stuff with die cut inlay with this if you wanted to, or you could do a real basic kind of background where you do white on white or something like that. I think that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to be working with our Distress Oxides, so I've got some Kitsch Flamingo, Candied Apple, Carved Pumpkin, Twisted Citron, Mermaid Lagoon, and Seedless Preserves. I reserve my right to change my mind at any time during my life, so just keep that in mind. I just grabbed these off the shelf. So first we're going to start off here with a piece of A2-sized cardstock. And we're going to go ahead and cut out our lovely butterfly from that. Now, if you wanted to just get a thin outline and then do some like paper piecing type stuff, you could also cut the shadow at the same time. It just depends on the look you're going for. And let's go ahead and do that. I'll show you how that turns out. I do recommend that if you're gonna do it like this, that you tape your dies together so that way they don't shift when they are going through your die cutting machine, and you still get that same nice little border all the way around. So I'm gonna tape my dies together here and here. And then you can see this fills up pretty much the whole front of an A2 size card. I just want to make sure that it's going to cut well and not get like some kind of little missing edge or something. It looks like this is fine. So we'll give that a go. And let me grab my die cutting machine. Oh, and I got to switch my chat over. Again, it's showing top chat. So I apologize if I've missed any of your lovely comments. Let me grab my die cutting machine here. I'm using a Platinum 6. It is a manual machine, and at some point here I do want to get an electronic machine, but I'm just not sure which one I want to get, and I've been kind of I don't know. You know, an electric machine is a big investment. And my Platinum 6 works great, and I can use it with the glimmer and with the Better Press, which I have. But I do love the idea of not having to crank this bad boy. So I just ran it through back and forth. And you can see all those pieces cut through really nicely. Here's a tip for you. If you have a finicky die and you're not sure if it cut through well, instead of pulling your die off, make sure you have it taped to your paper and just flip it over and see if things have cut through. And if they haven't, put it right back in your die cutting machine and put it at like a different angle and run it through there again. Saves you a little bit of heartache if you just check first. Kathy, you love your Gemini Junior. I know that's one of the ones I'm thinking about. I've been looking at that, the Empress. I mean, there's so many. I'm sure they're all good because I've seen lots of different people that I really kind of, respect using them. And I just don't know which one is the right one for me is the problem. And I find so many other things to spend my money on. Now, normally I am a person who loves tools. Hands down, I will spend money on tools, especially if they're going to make my life easier, because I know they will get a lot of use. Whereas with a stamp and die set, as much as I love it, I'm probably not going to use it more than a few times here or there. I'm just being honest. That's me. Plus, I'm in a little bit of a different situation than I was when I first started card making, where I would use my sets a lot more. I you know, I do design team work, so I have a lot of new things that I get to work with a lot of the time. But when I do spend my money, you know, it's hard to pay for the super expensive die cutting machine. Okay, so you see that all came out just easy peasy. Let's see, Connie, safety tip: if you get an electric die cutter, do not get rid of your manual one. Personal experience. I have no plans to get rid of it if I get an electric one, especially since it does work with those other Spellbinders products. But I also have 2 mini desk ones that I use a lot when I'm working with smaller dies. I have both the Bitty Buzz cutter as well as the Hero Arts compact cutter, and that's really nice to have a small little desktop one. Coffee break, because you can just reach over and grab it, and then it's not like a whole production, I guess. I don't know. I mean, most of the time, all this stuff that we use, right, it's not because you couldn't do it like, I don't know, cheaper way. It just, you'd get the things that make, at least for me, I get the things that make my life easier. Oh, and here, see, I was so busy and I just didn't quite see that this didn't cut all the way through, which is fine. Sometimes if I have kind of more layered dies like this, where they have lots of little pieces, that magic mat does not. And in fact, rather than spend a bunch of time cutting that little center part, I'm just going to run it again. The magic mat that I have on my Platinum 6, I don't know if you guys saw it. It's great in terms of, like, I use it most of the time because it's lasted me for forever. Like, I haven't had to change my plates in, oh, I don't know, over a year, probably. And that's why I like it so much. But the real detailed dies like these sometimes really just require the good old-fashioned plates, because that magic mat is well loved and worn and is not, it just, I don't know, I think it has to do with the die just doesn't have something to, like, as hard to run into. So let's give this one more go here. That's my other tip. If you ever do have an issue, like, don't spend your time, like, trying to go and redo it a million times. Just go ahead and rerun it through. Okay, yeah, these are all coming out. Good. It's only paper. Lori, you have a special needs son at home. My youngest is special needs, but he is highly functioning, so I understand that to some degree. I'm not sure what you've got going on. So let's see. You travel through YouTube. Yeah, I'm thankfully we are still able to travel and do things like that. But YouTube is an amazing resource, especially for people that are in your situation. Okay, here we go. There we go. Let's get this out of here. Not miss any of those little baby pieces. So we're going to grab each of these little pieces here, because this is what we're going to color. So stick with me. And we're going to try and make sure to keep them in the right order, as otherwise our beautiful butterfly is not going to look right. We're doing a rainbow one. I know, shocking rainbow, right guys? Rainbows and butterflies. I'm very much an 80s child. You throw in some Care Bears and My Little Pony, and I'm right at home. Why? Oh, and I'm using here, this is the paper inking palette. This is fairly new. It is, I can't remember exactly what release it came out with, but it is a fantastic little sticky mat here, and makes it's more sticky than some of the other mats, which I really appreciate because it holds my pieces in place much better. Okay, make sure we get the right ones here. I think this one is here. It's kind of look like eyebrows, you guys. Like, I could see these as different styles of eyebrows, like happy, angry, anxious. How funny. Oh, and I did miss a piece, see? There should be a centerpiece on each side. Oh, look, and there's the eye. Yeah, I love it when I crack myself up and other people are like, that's really not all that funny, Charlene. But that's okay. Okay, we've got our pieces here. I think we've got them all in order now. That took longer than I had anticipated, but there we go. That's life sometimes. Okay, I've got my Pouncers here. I'm gonna pull these out. Let's see, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need one more color. So let's throw a teal in there. Let me go grab a teal ink. Let's see, what do we think? Maybe we could do some peacock feathers maybe, or yeah, let's do peacock feathers. And maybe I'll switch to a little bit darker blue. No, we'll try this. We'll do peacock feathers still with the mermaid lagoon. I think that'll still look nice. Now, I don't know if these are still available in the store, but we did have these little labels that you could put on so that way you could mark your Pouncers if you were going to use them for oxides or for dye. And you can see kind of here, I keep all of my oxide in this. I moved my craft room over Christmas and I still haven't quite figured out how I want to organize these. So right now I just have each set in a different bin. But if these stickers are still available, you can put them, they'll fit on the bottom of the pint-sized Pouncer, or if you have any at home that you would purchase before. Let's see. Rebecca, you do a lot of virtual traveling too. There's so many things to see. My son, my youngest, he loves getting on YouTube, and he finds the most interesting things and shows them to me. And he's on YouTube Kids. There's a couple of channels I let him watch on YouTube, but mostly he's on YouTube Kids. But he shows me these cool places from all over the world, and I've got a really long bucket list now, thanks to him, of things I would love to see. So if you're not familiar with pint-sized Pouncers, these are absolutely awesome. They're about a third of the size of the regular size Pouncers. They are great for coloring die cuts. You can see I'm creating my own essentially colored cardstock here, and I get to use whatever ink color I want, which if you're anything like me, I have a million. I'm not going to use that red. I don't know why I was thinking I was going to. And I don't have a yellow. See, guys, I told you I reserved the right to change my mind on colors. All right, let's bring in some squeezed lemonade for the yellow. All right, carved pumpkin for the orange. I love this orange. It's one of my faves. Okay, we're gonna bring this in. And so you can get into really small spaces with these pint-sized pouncers. They just, I mean, you can see these die cuts are kind of right next to each other. And all you do is you tap into your ink and then you tap on your paper. And the ink largely is going to transfer off of the Pouncer right onto the cardstock. Does not take very much ink at all. These actually save a lot of ink in comparison to brushes because the brushes suck up all of that ink that you're using. So these use much less ink than you would with a regular brush in my experience. Rebecca. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Rebecca's a friend of mine, and when the original Pouncers came out, I was just going bonkers over them. And she had messaged me and she was like, "Do you really like these?" And I was like, "Yes, I really like these. I do not tell people I like something unless I'll put it this way. I will never try and like say how amazing a product is or that I love it so much unless I really do, because that's just me. Now, of course, there are personal preferences, right? So some people might get a product or something like that and be like, "Oh, I don't really like this." So I always, that's why I don't like to say negative things about products in the first place. Like, I just don't use them on my own personal channel because they might be great for someone. They're just not great for me. I hope that makes sense. I'm worried that my brain is a little foggy, and so it's coming across as a little foggy to you guys. So we had pink, which I'm replacing for red, because pink is actually just a shade of red. It's a light version of red mixed with white. So it's is that a tone? I think it's a tone. I can't ever remember. But so you can use pink to replace red. So we've got pink, orange, yellow, and then next we're going to come in with green. This is a very bright green. If you want to have a more kind of subdued sort of rainbow, you could definitely pick different colors, because this is I'm going with bright, happy colors here. I think I'm gonna move these. If I was not live, I probably would do this with them that close together, but I just don't want to mess up while I'm live with you guys. So I'm gonna move these off of here, so I can move up my little eye-shaped pieces here. And you can see this mat's pretty sticky, so I do use a little kind of like a little metal spatula type tool to move my pieces off so I don't bend them at all. All right. Now these oxides, if you're familiar with distress oxides, they just have a really cool kind of texture to them when they dry, I guess. They have this like very creamy looking finish to them, I guess is the best way to describe them. And so oxides are very easy to blend. They are probably the easiest thing to blend in terms of inks. So if you're newer to ink blending, I always recommend people try Oxides out. Green, what comes next? We're gonna do the teal. Oh, I got sidetracked. I was telling you about my story to Rebecca. So I told her, yes, I absolutely love those, the Pouncers. And so she had got them. And then, of course, just recently, Picket Fence came out with the Pint-sized Pouncers. And I was like, oh, these are amazing. And I love them for different reasons. You know, honestly, if I had to choose, like, if I could only get one set, I would probably get the pint-sized ones, just because you can easily get into really small spaces with them. And I, generally speaking, do not personally use my Pouncers as much for large areas, because they are, you can blend with them. But I personally find it easier to do like a fully blended panel with my brushes. And so I told you guys I love tools. And I like to use whatever makes my life easier. Where's my blue? Here's my blue. Now you could use this as light blue, but I've chosen to designate it as teal, because I use a lot of teals. And there's no rhyme or reason, right, guys? Like, you can use your tools however you want. There's no tool police that's gonna come into your craft room and say, you're doing it wrong. As Kathy Silsky has that little sound bite on her channel, if you guys watch that at all. I can't tell you how many times, though, I have had that same experience where people come on my channel and will tell me I'm doing something wrong. And I'm like, well, there's really not a right or a wrong way to do this. It's just personal preference most of the time. Okay, isn't that a pretty blue? I don't use Mermaid Lagoon enough. I like that blue. It's such a just like vibrant color. And purple. Now, Seedless Preserves is not, I'm probably going to catch some flack here for saying this. It is not my favorite purple. I prefer a cooler purple, but I thought it would look nice. And I don't use it very often. I usually use Wilted Violet. Or I absolutely love Villainous Potion, because it is such a perfect, in my opinion, purple for Halloween cards or nighttime skies. Oh, amazing. Okay, there we go. And you can see, so that didn't take long at all, and I was busy jabbering and messing around with ink colors and things like that. But I've got all these different colors now from one piece of cardstock. Did not take long. They all stuck on my mat, didn't move around on me, and they're ready to go. So now I can take my butterfly, and I am going to actually go ahead, because if I was going to glue my butterfly directly onto a card, I would not need another backer. But because I'm going to have it popped up on the card, I am going to need to cut one more of the shadow from some just regular 80-pound Nina cardstock. So let me just do that real quick here off camera. Cut down my cardstock there. Get it on my plate. There we go. Okay. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments and just say question. And then I'll catch it a little bit better. I think I'm keeping up on the chat, but if I missed anything, let me No. Where's Naperville? Naperville? I'm probably mispronouncing that. Beautiful ranch homes. You guys, my house. We bought a house. For those of you who don't know, we live here near Seattle. And the housing market here is just bonkers. Like, just bonkers. And so my house is not we have a lovely home. I shouldn't sound like that, but it's definitely not the house I would have picked had I had more options, if that makes sense. So it is a bit of a tight squeeze in terms of my husband and I both, I do this probably about 30 hours a week, so I need a full craft room. And then my husband works from home, so he has to have an office. And then I've got three kiddos. And it's just a little tight. I'm sure I'm not the only one to experience that. I am very thankful to have, oh, come on. I left this sitting out for too long. I am very thankful, though, to have a craft room that is just dedicated to crafty goodness. Oh, come on. Why am I having struggles here? Normally I don't have an issue. Oh, wow. You guys are seeing this on live camera. Let me grab my little pokey stick here. That's a little bit longer. I've been out of town and I forgot to close up my, I usually close this all the way and don't leave it just open sitting in the glue holder. And I forgot to do that. There we go. So I'm just going to dot glue all the way around here. I don't know if you guys can hear, my son just popped in here to grab something out of his craft cart. I have a little desk in here in my craft room for him that has like all of his markers and all of his little crafty goodies. He's a big time into arts and crafts. And he's not as neat as I am, which drives me bonkers. So we have to talk a lot of the time about trying to keep our space clean. And I have to try and keep his area clean. So, yeah, there's that. Now, I'm sure some of you can relate to kids that don't like to keep things clean. And I don't razz him about it too much, but I do have him come up and clean it every once in a while. I'm going to tap this on a paper towel just to get the little bit of excess off of there so we don't have a bunch of glue that kind of smooshes out. And this is going to line right up with the one that I just cut out. I'll go around here on the edges and smush it flat. Not really worried about glue smushing out because we are going to fill in the little spots, but I didn't want too much glue. You could do this also as a separate piece and do it in like glitter cardstock or metallic cardstock. That also would look super pretty. Let's see. And then it's just a matter of popping these little pieces in to their little homes here with some glue dotted in there. And we're going to get a nice little die cut inlay. Let's see, what's going on here? Visited Seattle in 1977. Hitchhiking and traveling by bus. Oh my gosh, Lori, really? Ooh. That is, I mean, it certainly sounds like an adventure. Would you guys be quiet down there, please? Sorry, my oldest, who is an adult, is here. And he's bickering with my youngest. I don't know if you can hear that, hopefully. Hopefully not. Okay, there we go. We've got our pink, orange, and yellow, and we'll get our green in there. See how this is coming together and how pretty this is? Now you could also just do this outline and put a really pretty patterned paper behind it, and that would look really nice too. This also would make a really cool looking shaker card. So you could, hold on just a second, guys. I'm doing a live, Xander. Okay. Lots and lots of different ways you could use this die. And what's nice about this kind of die is because it does take up most of the card. Like once you've done this, like that you don't really have to do anything else to make a beautiful card. You could just put this on the front of a card, add a sentiment, and call it a day. Like I'm gonna do a little bit of a fancier background, but really that's 100% not necessary to create a really pretty card. Come on, go when you're home. You guys talk to your die cuts? I do. I talk to myself, I talk to my die cuts, all these things. It might also be cool to have, like, you could cut out another one of these, the outline, and lift it up and have like a couple of layers so that the colors are sort of inset inside of it farther. That would also look really pretty. There, we've got half our butterfly. See how nice that looks? Rebecca, thank you. I'm so glad I'm not alone. You talk to whatever you're working on. Good. Me too. I also, I'm very musical oriented, I guess. You know, I did choir all through college and high school, and so I oftentimes will sing to myself as well, but I will change the words to kind of go along with whatever I'm doing. And so I'll sing about like whatever I'm crafting and just kind of change the lyrics. I don't know. I'm kind of a weirdo, guys. I don't know what to tell you. All right, we've got pink. And we'll get our orange in here. Oh, that carved pumpkin is such a yummy orange. It's just a beautiful, bold orange. I love that color. Get our yellow here. This also, I think, would look pretty. You could do a blended piece, ink blended piece, and then cut it out. And then you'd have the ink blending going all the way through. That'd be pretty. This is just such a unique butterfly. I don't know that I've ever really seen, I mean, obviously in nature, butterflies don't have this many wings. So I don't know that I've ever really seen a die where they made it like this geometric kind of looking, I think, am I backwards here? This kind of geometric style. it's just different and fun, and I like it. Lori, you love the colors, just right? I mean, it looks so pretty now that it's all coming together with the colors all right next to each other. So bright and cheerful. This would be great for just a thinking about you card, a birthday card. I use a lot also of my thinking about you cards or hug cards or whatever. I use them all the time for birthdays. I don't know if you guys do that, but you can use like any card for a birthday card. I just then say happy birthday, and oftentimes I'll just, for my inside sentiment, that'll be the one that says happy birthday. I'll just take a happy birthday stamp out of my stash and stamp it in there. But for Rebecca knows, I'm not a huge writer on the insides of cards. I just don't know what to say. So I hope that my recipients know that my love and caring is wrapped up in the amount of time I spent making the card and not on what I wrote inside of it, because it's just not, I'm not very good with being, I don't want this to sound like bad, but I'm just not very good with being wordy, I guess. So if I'm trying to tell someone happy birthday, have a great day, like I write happy birthday, I hope you have a great day. And it just, I know that can sometimes come across as like very generic. It was great when I was practicing law, because that's what you want to do when you're writing legal documents. You want to be very concise and to the point and persuasive without being overly wordy. Not so much for creative writing. Now I also could have changed the butterfly and made it a different color, the body. I'm wondering maybe if I should pull this out and we should color it gray or black. Let's before that dries, let's pull it out. Let's try coloring it gray so it just has a little bit more definition. And I'm just gonna wipe some of this color away here. And we'll bring in some, maybe, I don't know, what do we think? Maybe a darker gray. Or light. Now let's just do Lost Shadow, just so that there's a little bit of a difference between the body and the butterfly wings. Smudge it in all the colors in the sticky mat. Oh yeah, you could do that too, and then carry the rainbow theme over. That would look cool. I want to try it with this gray, but that's a good idea too. Oh, I'm picking up some of the color. I was worried about that. Oh well. I'm gonna move this like this. Okay, good enough, guys. And let's redo that. It's gonna have a little bit of yellow on his what are they called? They're not antenna. They have a very specific term for the little tops of the butterfly. And I can't think of it right now. Okay. There we go. So it just, against the white, added a little bit more contrast. Look at how cool that is. And as this dries, it's still a little bit wet. It'll smooth back even more in terms of how the colors look. All right, let's get this mess out of here. made a mess of my work surface here. Excuse me, pint-sized pouncers. Bye-bye glue. Let's get these inks out of the way here. Okay, coffee break. All right, we're gonna grab this inset piece here. We're gonna cut this out of white cardstock. There's my cardstock, there it is. I don't remember if I said this, but if you guys are interested in looking at anything that I'm using today, it is down in the description. For some reason, I could not get the live to go live on Facebook. So hopefully, if you normally watch on Facebook, you found me over here on YouTube. But there's also a link down in the chat, the live chat. If you're watching live, it's pinned, I believe, to the top, if that's working correctly. Okay, so with rectangle dies, I always recommend you take them in at an angle, so that way the pressure piece is not trying to hit that full side. Instead, it's kind of gradually working across it. You're gonna get less skipping, less noise, all in all, less problems. And I do like to do mine twice. So what I do is I kind of hold the plate in place for when it comes out. So that way I know it won't shift. And then I can go back through. And because this is super detailed, I might even take it through 3 times. And because we're live, I wanna, oh yeah, that cut through really well. And I will clean this stuff up later, but you see how cool those little pieces are? Like you could totally use those and do a really wild, intricate die cut inlay if you wanted to. I just want this fun piece. Look how cool that is for a background. I know one of the design team, I think it was Brenda, did a card and used this in a background, and she just put the square pieces in a green, I believe, against the white, and it looked really cool. I was blown away. I'm always blown away by everyone's talent on the team. They're so good. Is this cut to size? Yes. Okay. So this is going to have a little bit of a border on an A2 size card. You could also use one of the cool rectangle dies that go around it in order to create an extra level if you wanted to. I think I'm going to keep it, because we are running a little bit low on time here, I'm just going to keep it with the one. But isn't that a fun, interesting background? It adds just texture and a little bit of a different look to the card. So I'm going to glue this. And when you're working with these super highly detailed pieces like this, you guys, you don't have to glue everywhere. I think sometimes people get overwhelmed because they feel like they have to glue the entire, all the lines and everything on there. You don't. You just need to get enough glue down on there that it's going to hold in place over time. And so I always recommend pick kind of a pattern of gluing that you want to do, and then just make it consistent through the whole back. So what I mean by that is, like, for instance, I could just make sure that I'm going to glue along all of these lines that go this way, and that's going to help make sure that there is enough glue on the back holding this down that it's not going to lift or look funny on the front. But it means I also don't have to go through and do every single line on here. Did you guys hear that? My stomach is growling. That's embarrassing. Hopefully you can't hear that. Okay, I got them all in there. Now I'm gonna stand up to make sure I can get this nice and centered here on the card. This is the trickiest part for me. I feel like this is the hardest part of making any card, is getting everything lined up and looking good. That looks pretty good, I think. And we'll just go down like this. And if you're feeling extra fancy, you could layer these up to get more depth and dimension and detail. But this does a pretty good job of adding Rebecca. Oh, that is another great way to do it. You can also put a double-sided adhesive sheet and then die cut it so then it's sticky. Yeah, absolutely can do that. My problem is that's not something I ever really like think to do until it's too late to do it. But it is absolutely going to make your life easier if you do that. Now I could add some foam tape back here if I wanted to. I'm going to actually, where are we at in time? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do foam tape. I was going to just die cut a couple of extra pieces, but we're running a little low on time and the foam tape will be faster. I keep all my little extra pieces I've already die cut from the giant foam roll that Picket Fence has. I keep them in this little bag so then I can just grab them as I need them. And so that's where this is coming from. This is from the big giant roll that Picket Fence has. I think it's back in stock. So this is a little bit thicker, you can see. So it definitely, if that's a, keep that in mind. But look at how much it adds to the overall look of the card when you have it real thick like that. It's very pretty. I'm gonna cut a couple more pieces here just so I can make sure I've got enough support behind my butterfly. And I just have this paper here. This is just parchment paper because this comes on a big giant roll, so you can make your own sheets of it by just putting parchment paper on the sticky side once you've cut it. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, I think that's gonna be good. Let me put these little pieces away and we can do our sentiment. Where has Charlene's brain gone? Where can it be? There it is. For our sentiment, I was going to use, I think this, flying by to say hi, or sending you lots of bugs and kisses. Is a butterfly technically a bug? I think it's not an insect, but bug is more of a colloquial term, I feel like. I know that's a fancy word, but I think that it is. Someone tell me in the comments. Chris, with the adhesive, there isn't wiggle room, so I always get it crooked. The glue press is a must-have for me since my glue always clogs no matter what. Love your card. Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I love the glue press. I don't know if you been here the whole time. It clogged on me live because if you are going to leave it for several days, I do recommend putting taking it out of the little gun portion of it and putting the lid on it, because it will clog if it's sat there for long enough. But it's an awesome product. We actually have them over on the Picket Pen Studios website. They are available there if anyone wants to look at them. They're super handy. All right, I've grabbed a piece of black cardstock here. I'm just going to cut, if I can find my scissors, a little piece of it off here, because we're going to heat emboss this real quick for our sentiment. I'll grab my mini Misty here, tuck it down here in the corner, and I will use some anti-static powder. And let me grab my embossing ink, my embossing powder. Yeah, and I am running low on that embossing powder. I'm going to kind of prep this stamp a little bit since it's new, just by rubbing it on my palm. You could also rub it on the back of your hand. I mean, a lot of people do all kinds of different things to kind of knock off any oils or anything from the manufacturing process that could mess with your impression. Double stamp this. Okay, it looks like that transferred well. Set this aside somewhere on my completely covered desk now. I can't find my little piece I usually use for my, oh boy, for my embossing powder. I guess I'll just grab a new one. Sprinkle my embossing powder over it. I like to do this kind of at an angle. Let it slide off. Do it twice. Tap, tap, tappy, tap. Give it a little blow. And then if there are still any little tiny spaces I want to get rid of something, in particular this is good for when you're working with like in between letters. If you've got some little pieces stuck in there, I just kind of get those little pieces and hit them with my pokey tool here, and it gives them enough movement so that when I blow on the cardstock it will come off. So if you're wondering how people get those really crisp, clean, embossed images, that's usually how they're doing it. Okay, I'm gonna for sure dump my embossing powder, so let me do this. Turn on my heat gun here. Hopefully that's not too loud. Oh, hi, Anna. Yay. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, when I'm in the process of putting together a card, man, my desk just like, it you know, stuff just piles up and gets buried. It's also because I get super excited about everything I'm using. And so I go a little bit hog wild. Alright, I think I've got that pretty well done. So look here. I'm going to show you guys up real nice and close. Look how sharp that is. There's no mess. It's not melted. And a lot of that is it takes practice, but it also takes the patience of making sure you get all those little pieces off. And also when I heat my embossing powder with my heat tool, if you guys noticed, I go just until it just starts melting and then I take it away. I let it cool a little bit and then I do it again. I don't wait until it's 100% fully melted before I pull away the first time. It's something about like, it starts to, if it gets overheated, you're essentially melting it into your paper. That's what people say when they're talking about burnt embossing powder. It's not really burnt. You've just over melted it to the point where it's saturated into your paper. So go slow. Like, you don't have to go fast with melting your embossing powder. There's nobody saying, hurry up, you know, except for maybe your own little internal voice. And I have found that if I just get it to start melting, take that heat gun away, assess, go back in, take it away and assess, it gives me a much nicer result when I'm all done. Donna, if you can still see your entire surface when you're done crafting, you aren't crafting. I think I represent that comment. So, okay, we're going to die cut this out with the coordinating die. And we'll be in business, people. We're just about done here. Now I'm going to show you something with the, I'm going to use the black version of the foam. Now, this is one of my favorite things about the Picket Fence foam. It does die cut really well. So I can actually put this foam on here. It's that real thick one. I can put it on the back and I can die cut this. And it's gonna come out and have all that awesome dimension, but I don't have to glue anything or deal with that. So let me grab my die cutting machine here. I've made a bit of a mess because I had that. Give me a second, guys. I haven't left, I promise. I just have to get all these little pieces here scratched off of the cutting plate from the cool geometric background we did. Okay. So we can just run this through like so. It's going to cut right through that foam. And it's going to give us an awesome, already pre-popped up piece there. And it's going to be perfectly lined up. That's the nice part about that. Okay, let's do our last little step here and finish our card off, putting these last pieces on here. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I know I went a little bit past the hour here, so I appreciate that. And come on. There we go. Now I think, what do we think? On top? No. Put it down here at the bottom. I wonder if I want to put it this way, maybe. No. Nope, nope, nope. We're going to put it right here in kind of the center of our card. And then we'll tuck our little sentiment down here. Right underneath our little sweet butterfly. Something like that. What do we think? I don't know. I don't love that placement on the sentiment. I got a little bit of foam there. This is crooked. Oh boy. Now, I will say you can kind of reposition this foam for a little bit, which is nice. It's not marketed as repositionable, but you can for at least a little bit. I'm going to put this here. I think that looks better. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments, which was better. I think this works better for this card. And there we go. We can add some bling if you want to. Dress it up. Whatever you think. But here is the finished card. Oh, good. Rebecca agrees with me. All right, guys. Oh, good. Kathy agrees too. Oh, wait. No, I don't know. You like it on top of the butterfly, Anna. Oh, yes. Okay, Anna, yeah, and Kathy and Rebecca. Yay. I agree. I think it looks better on top of the butterfly. Now, if I had more time, I would probably add a few little sequins here and there. I will probably do that for the finished card that I post. If you want to see what the finished card does look like, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I will post it as the cover photo of this live. And I will also post it over on my Instagram, Dreamcraft Create. So you're welcome to take a look at it over there. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll go back through and look at the messages and see if I missed any questions and try and answer them in the comments if I did. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I'll see you next Tuesday here on the channel, noon Central. All right, guys, and we'll have some more fun. Everybody have a wonderful day. Bye.